Showcased here are vintage glasses collected by the guest, who has a passion for antique eyewear and has been collecting them for the past 50 years.
I'm not sure because I've bought so many glasses over the years, but maybe $100 a piece or something like that.
These glasses were made in the 1950s by the Schiaparelli Company, founded by Elsa Schiaparelli. Schiaparelli was an Italian fashion designer with an aristocratic background.
Because she was one of the most incredible Paris couture designers of her time. It's amazing to see some of her eyeglasses.
The eyeglasses closest to the appraiser are plaid patterned, while the pair closest to the guest is made of 14-karat gold. Furthermore, the 14-karat gold eyeglasses are adorned with real pearls. This pair of gold eyeglasses, embellished with pearls, would be valued at
Are valued in the $6,000 to $9,000 price range.
On the other hand, the plaid patterned eyeglasses are decorated with paste jewels. At auction, this prototype, plated eyeglasses by Schiaparelli would be worth,
In today's market, is basically between $1,100 and $1,200.
Interestingly, these eyeglasses are prototypes and among the first designer eyewear produced by Schiaparelli. Adding to their value is the fact that they come in the original case, which alone would be valued at.
It could add another $1,000 to $1,500 to the value of the glasses.
Interesting. Thank you very much.
The guest brought a painting of Huangshan, the sacred yellow mountain, renowned for its stunning beauty. Considered one of the top painters in China at the time, Xiaojun's work stood out, selling for a significant amount of money. Xiaojun's work attracted collectors. Notably, Xiaojun created a large-scale work that commanded high prices. Emphasizing the artist's reputation in the art world, the significance of Xiaojun was made clear. Gaining recognition both in China and internationally, Xiaojun's paintings were well regarded. Mentioned was the connection to the artist through family friendship, which added personal value. Highlighting the cultural importance of Huangshan and Chinese art, the mountain's influence was acknowledged. The appraiser estimated the value of the painting would be,
It's got to be in the $50,000 to $70,000 range.
Wow.
Upon seeing this guitar, one might be reminded of the beautiful sounds that musical instruments bring to life. However, this mandolin guitar, inherited by this guest, isn't necessarily one of such. A symphonic harp mandolin, it's actually a very rare item.
The design for this, which is you can see is very unusual with the harp arm, is by a man named Knutson, who is from Seattle, Washington, and Tacoma, Washington.
These types of guitars are largely decorative musical instruments. They are playable, and they do sound okay, but a person wouldn't buy them strictly for their sound alone. These guitars were made by the Larson brothers, under license from Knutson.
Named the Larson brothers, Carl and August Larson. They came here in about 1880, and they worked as luthiers in Chicago for different companies making guitars and other stringed instruments.
This mandolin's origin can be traced back down to 1909 or 1910, as it was made for sale by the Dyer Company in Minneapolis, St. Paul. It has a spruce top and a bone purfling, with varying types of inlays.
It has a spruce top and bone purfling, abalone inlay, fancy pearl inlays on the ebony fingerboard.
Although the guitar has a couple of cracks that need to be repaired, it is in still pretty nice condition. At a retail market, this somewhat more decorative musical instrument would be worth,
on the retail market today, I would say that this is probably worth about $7,500.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I've never seen one personally, and I'm really glad that you brought it into the Roadshow today.
Thank you.
Quite a collection of wine labels are presented on the show today. This collection was inherited by the guest husband, who is British. They are a great collection of different years of wine labels.
Your names are more desirable. These are very
okay.
collectible,
Okay.
and people really like them. They like to have them.
Starting from the very plain, clean lines of the earlier Georgian period. From there to the later 18th century styled labels. Then there's the beautiful Regency details of the George IV period from about the 1820s. Plus, also some from the William IV period with beautiful designs and the silver gild. Maker's marks can be found on most of the labels, as they were made by various English silversmiths.
And most of these do have maker's marks that we can look up easily in a silver hallmarking book. And they're all letter dated, with the exception of the early piece, which only has a maker's mark.
At auction, the entire collection of about 20 pieces would have a value of,
I would say you'd be in the $4,000 to $6,000 range for the collection at auction.
Excellent.
Imagine coming across a book signed by one of the most famous artists ever.
And I came across this one, and it's like, well, I think there's something here.
In case you were wondering who that artist is, it's none other than Pablo Picasso. Picasso is more famously known for pioneering the Cubism movement. The book, titled Lysistrata, was written by Aristophanes. However, this particular piece is a relatively modern 20th century edition of the book. It is a limited edition club version of the famous ancient Greek play.
And the LEC, her limited edition club, is famous for reissuing classics of literature.
This book, along with the Matisse Ulysses by Henri Matisse, are two of the most sought-after and desirable publications of the limited editions club. In a marketplace, this sought-after book would have a price of,
The marketplace today would sell for $4,000 to $5,000.
It's wonderful to hear. That's great.
This guest purchased the two displayed vases at a local flea market in El Paso. These vases, crafted from porcelain, were made in France, circa 1880. On the front of the vases, there are hand-painted panels depicting a scene with a man and a woman.
And they're very well done, painted with these scenes of French people in the countryside. There's a hunter there and his girlfriend that he's wooing, and there's another couple here.
Interestingly, beneath the hand painting is a paint glaze that has been remarkably well preserved over time. When the vases are turned around, we can see that the reverse side is also painted, featuring wildflowers. Both vases have intricately crafted handles with a whitish glaze on either side. In terms of condition, they are in very good shape, with minimal visible wear. Given their good condition and the fact that they come as a pair, these vases would likely fetch a price of
$600 or maybe as much as $900.
Wow.
And that price is for the pair. You made a great buy.
I did, for $50.
The guest discovers an old envelope containing folded wallpaper while sorting through belongings. Curious about the unexpected find, they unfold the wallpaper and find a newspaper inside. The newspaper, the Daily Citizen, was published in Vicksburg, Mississippi on July 2, 1863. The appraiser confirms the newspaper is a rare and valuable piece of Civil War memorabilia. The newspaper's publisher was forced to flee Vicksburg as the Union Army approached. The Union soldiers discovered the partially printed newspaper and added a note at the bottom claiming authorship. The paper was printed on wallpaper due to paper scarcity during the war.
You were right to go to the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress has famously studied this particular piece of memorabilia.
It is recognized as a first state due to a misspelling in early copies. The Union soldiers repurposed the newspaper, printing copies for themselves and selling them. The guest copy includes a unique inscription from Union soldiers, increasing its value. The appraiser estimates the newspaper's auction value at
$3,000 to $5,000.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
That's neat.
It's a classic piece of Civil War memorabilia.
I was a skeptic in the family. My
Yeah?
wife says, oh, it's going to be an original. I was a skeptic, so.
We have here an 8-foot-tall clock that was given to the guest and her husband when they married. The clock, made in America in the 1820s by Jacob Cope, reflects the craftsmanship of a notable clockmaker known for his work during the late 18th and early 19th centuries. On the pendulum bar, we can discern the maker's signature, and it is also numbered. The clock features a distinctive dial with intact hands and painted edges.
With these colors, you have the reds and the greens and the dial. You can tell that this clock is a 30-hour clock because it doesn't have winding arbors in the dial.
It also has bracket feet and a wooden turtle panel on the base, typical of Pennsylvanian clocks. At the top, There is a swan neck pediment, a common element in the design of traditional grandfather clocks. Considering its age, the clock is in very good condition, and with the signature, it is estimated to be worth
A price tag of $7,500.
That is super. Thank you so much.
The guest brings in a family heirloom, print believed to be related to the Emancipation Proclamation. It has been in the guest family for at least 50 years. The appraiser confirms the print depicts Union soldiers reading the Emancipation Proclamation to enslaved people in 1864. It captures a range of emotions like hope and fear among the people. The print shows symbolic details, such as the hanging cotton. It is considered a fine example of 19th century American historical printmaking. Abraham Lincoln's portrait is a prominent feature of the print. The appraiser values the print at
I would ask $650 for it.
Wow. Okay.
This print is currently valued at $3,000 and $3,500. Tribal art antiques don't usually get any better than these dolls. Although they were acquired in Nigeria by the guest grandparents, they're actually of Ghanaian origins.
These are actually my grandmother and my grandfather's. During the late 60s, they lived in Nigeria for a few years. And my grandfather bought them from a peddler. He probably paid approximately $5 in American cash for them.
They are Akuba dolls, believed to be good for fertility. Usually, women who wanted kids would stick this in their wrappers. These types of dolls can be traced to the Ashanti tribe of Ghana. The dolls have an elongated neck. Although they are from a later period than what most collectors would want them to be from, they're still quite valuable.
Probably a collector would want them to be a little bit earlier, okay? Maybe the 20s or the 30s.
A piece, this fertility dolls with their provenance and unique features would be worth.
As fairly late Akawabas, these are worth about $100 to $150 a piece.
Okay, great.
You might think that signs are just as their name suggests, signs. However, upon going into the American Signs Museum, you realize that these signs are more than just that. Containing a collection of different signs from as early as the 1800s to the 1970s, this museum seems to have it all. Signs with glittering images and captivating colors fill this museum. There's the jewelry sign made of painted metal and incandescent lights.
This sign is the best traits of late 1800s trade signs combined with the technology of early 1900s electricity.
An auction estimate for this jewelry sign can be said to be in the region of?
I would put an auction estimate of $8,000 to $12,000 on.
While from the 1930s is the pure oil sign, which features a Rippleton cabinet and neon tubing.
Neon was actually developed in France by Georges Claude in the early 1900s, and he debuted neon signs at the Paris Auto Show in 1910.
The value for the pure oil sign at an auction would be in the region of?
I would probably put an auction estimate of about $10,000 to $15,000, and I could think it would easily sell for more.
About 4 years ago, this guest purchased the showcased collection of 3 jewelries at a consignment shop, a flea market, and online, respectively. Included in this collection is a bracelet, referred to as the lower end of the moonstone market. This bracelet would easily be valued at?
And then the bracelet would probably be about $100 to $300 at auction.
Secondly, we have a cabochon moonstone ring. It was made in the Art Deco period, circa 1920s to 1930s. The cabochon ring has a shining onyx and diamond shoulders. At auction, this ring would be worth?
Ring would come in at about $3,000 to $5,000. Okay.
Another item displayed is a pendant that was made in the Edwardian era, circa 1905. This pendant is inlaid with moonstone, and in the center there is an emboss of Medusa's face, with her hair and the snakes. However, this pendant chain has been replaced by the guest, which could slightly affect its value. Despite the replaced chain, this pendant would easily be worth?
The pendant would be coming in just a little bit above that because there were a couple modifications made, about $4,000 to $6,000 at auction. Thank you for bringing them in. They're very pretty.
I love them. They're not going to be sold.
That's fabulous.
This historic document, a certificate of citizenship for a free person of color, carries immense significance. Acquired by the Guest in 1978, this document predates the current popularity of black memorabilia.
Well, I acquired the document through the WGBH auction in 1978.
It certifies George Barker, born in 1788, as a free citizen and provides detailed information about his appearance. The document reflects the era's language, describing Barker's sable complexion and woolly hair, which highlights its historical context. It also mentions that the certificate was issued for the relief and protection of American seamen, noting the lack of provisions for people of color. With its detailed description and intact archival seal, this document stands out as an exceptionally rare piece. As such, scholars, collectors, and institutions value this document highly. With its extraordinary historical significance and rarity, this citizenship document is valued at...
How about $3,500 to $5,000 for this document?
Our guest found these illustrations at a charity rummage sale about 26 years ago. The large illustration cost $7, and the small one cost $3. Our guest cherishes the large one, as it reminds them of their father.
The large one, which reminded me and my father, he died when I was 8, and I just cherished that one.
These illustrations are by Frances Tipton Hunter, a notable 20th century artist. Frances Tipton Hunter was born in 1896, studied at the Philadelphia Academy of Art, and her works are often featured in major magazines like Collier's and the Saturday Evening Post. The illustrations are estimated to date back to the 1930s or 1940s.
And I would be dating these based on the details, based on the costume, based on the whole style of the furniture.
They are in excellent condition with no evidence of fading, suggesting they may have been well preserved. The $10 purchase is now valued at approximately...
It's probably worth about $1,500 to $2,500.
A New Orleans resident discovers a charming piece at a thrift store. Intrigued by its beauty, the guest purchases it for $80. The appraiser admires the thistle design and its high-quality glaze.
You couldn't make this without a very high-quality kiln, what we call a majolica glaze kiln.
The piece is identified as Austrian Majolica from around 1890 to 1900. Unfortunately, the item has some damage, including missing pieces. The guest wonders if restoration is worthwhile. The appraiser confirms that restoration will significantly increase the item's value. The estimated restoration cost is between $400 and $500. Once restored, the jardiniere could be worth at least
$3,500. I think even as is, most antiques dealers would price it at around $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
This desk belonged to the famous author Kenneth Roberts and has been in the Guest family for over 50 years. It was crafted by William Say, a renowned cabinet maker from North Carolina between 1780 and 1800. William Say made furniture for the wealthy Whitmell Hill, and many pieces bear Hill's initials, W.H. The desk features distinctive elements like the cornice, pediment, flame finial, and
this beautiful molding at the top of the window lights. All of those things are characteristic of what William Say did.
Kenneth Roberts documented his purchase of the desk, noting it originated in Petersburg, Virginia, and
that it was mentioned in the book Antique Mania, and this type of case furniture from that particular part of the country.
The desk is made from yellow pine secondary wood, making it extremely heavy and difficult to move. While some restoration was done, such as replacing glass and part of the finial, the primary wood remains walnut, dating the piece to around 1790. The desk auction value is estimated at a jaw-dropping price of...
Conservative estimate at auction would be $60,000 to $90,000.
Wow.
For insurance value, I would say $125,000.
When America entered the war in April 1917, it led to the rationing of wool to supply uniforms for approximately 4.5 million American soldiers. Each soldier required a new coat every 79 days, And that uniform during World War I served multiple purposes, unlike today's specialized uniforms. This model 1912 coat was standard for Army troops, and a plain jacket without insignia could sell for $50 to $100 at retail. However, the value of a uniform increases significantly with the presence of insignia, which tells the soldier's story and distinguishes individual units. This uniform featured 2 chevrons, indicating at least 12 months of overseas service, an honorable discharge chevron, and the Italian War Medal. Most notably, it had an Italian-made Lion of St. Mark patch, worn by the American Ambulance Service and the 332nd Infantry, along with the Medical Corps collar insignia. This uniform was valued at around...
This uniform would sell at a retail value of around $900 to $1,000.
The second uniform belonged to a pilot in the Army Air Service, the first large-scale use of military aviation in U.S. history. This uniform featured an Air Service rondel shoulder insignia and the Reserve Military Aviator wing on the left chest. The value of this aviator uniform was estimated to be between...
Army aviator uniform from World War I, a collector can expect to pay between $1,000 and $1,500 at retail.
This Rolex Bubbleback watch was purchased by the owner's father in 1944. Remarkably, it was acquired while he was a prisoner of war in Germany. Rolex donated these watches, distributed through the International Red Cross.
And was a POW until the end of the war.
The watch features a rare black California dial, split between Roman and Arabic numerals. The pink gold bezel and crown add to its uniqueness and value. Our guest also kept the original timing papers, enhancing its historical significance. This watch's rarity and unique story make it a highly collectible timepiece. The appraiser estimated its current value at...
Would retail for $8,000 to $10,000 depending on the store. And that's because of the collectible dial. The dial makes this watch, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
30 years ago when I started in business, this is what I hunted for.
This guitar was acquired by the guest mother in the late 1930s, shortly after becoming a first-grade school teacher. The guitar, originally priced at $125 and purchased locally from the Johnson Hoffman store, was believed to have been bought around 1938. This guitar was identified as being made by the C.F. Martin Guitar Company, which was established in 1833. The appraiser dated the guitar to the mid-1890s, making it over 110 years old. The guitar's body was crafted from Brazilian rosewood, and it featured a beautiful original finish on the back, with no serial number inside, which is typical of guitars made before 1898. It was marked C.F. Martin & Company, New York, a marking used only between 1867 and 1898. Additional details, such as the amber finish and mechanical tuners instead of ivory, further placed the guitar in the 1890s. The model was identified as a single 028, known for its fine herringbone trim, Brazilian rosewood back and sides, spruce top, and pyramid bridge. The guitar was in excellent condition, showing minimal wear despite its age. Although Martin did not start making steel string guitars until the late 1920s, this guitar could still be played with nylon strings, or very light steel strings, due to its X-bracing system. The appraiser valued the guitar much higher, placing its insurance value between...
This market, I would put the insurance value of this guitar between $6,000 and $7,000.
Excellent.
It's a fabulous thing.
Thank you.
This Chippendale chest-on-chest was believed to have been built in the late 1700s and was passed down through the guest father's side of the family. The appraiser identified the chest as a classic New England chest-on-chest, dating from around 1800 at the tail end of the Chippendale period. Although the guest had believed the piece to be from Philadelphia, the appraiser clarified that it was likely made in southeastern Massachusetts or Rhode Island. The chest featured a carved fan at the top, tiger maple wood, which is highly valued by collectors, and Chippendale brasses with excellent color. Despite one knob being a later replacement, it does not significantly impact the chest value. The chest was in excellent condition, with original feet and glue blocking. Due to the changes in the market for high-style country pieces, the appraiser estimated the piece to be...
Would have been about $35,000.
Oh, wow.
So it was a little bit low, but it's a great chest-on-chest.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing it in.
Yeah, sure.
This bracelet belonged to the owner's great-grandmother and was likely a custom-made gift from her husband in the 1920s or 1930s. A previous appraisal valued the bracelet at over $9,000 for insurance purposes. It is multifunctional, serving as both a bracelet and a watch. The watch mechanism is from the Banner Watch Company, a common brand used in jewelry during that era.
You would pull this section out.
Yes, and wind the watch.
And wind the watch, correct.
Yes.
And then you would snap it back in.
The bracelet's unique design, rather than the watch movement, is its primary value. The platinum setting is unusual for the time period, as most jewelry was made of yellow or rose gold. It contains approximately 1 carat of diamonds and 1 carat of sapphires. It showcases a distinctive Art Deco design with a captivating swirl pattern. The bracelet's clasp mechanism is intricate and innovative for its time. Replacing the bracelet's clasp today would be costly, estimated at around
$25,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and really not a penny less.
Wow.
Originally, this interesting-looking time clock belonged to the guest's great-grandfather.
I was told he moved over here from France, turn of the century. He was a clock and jeweler maker.
And has been passed down through the family ever since. The item is a French industrial clock, made in France circa 1885 to 1895. The dial features a time and strike mechanism, which controls the clock's timekeeping functions. The clock is made of brass and has developed a wonderful patina. It is designed in the form of a locomotive and includes animation that can be activated by the winding.
They made them in several different forms. Locomotives, windmills, where the windmill would rotate. They even made automobiles where the wheels would turn. They were very, very popular, and they're still popular with collectors.
On the side of the clock, there is a broken barometer visible. At the top of the clock, there is a spot that originally held a thermometer, but is now missing. Additionally, the rods that drive the locomotive's wheels have been replaced. Despite these condition issues, the clock remains highly collectible among collectors, and it's estimated to be worth
I would expect it to bring about $10,000 in its current condition.
That's great. Well, I appreciate that, Gary. Thank you very much.
Thanks for bringing it in.
Picture a well-made lithograph of French origins, and what you get is today's piece. This poster was acquired by the guest due to the fact that she needed a large piece to cover a wall in her home. It was painted in Paris in 1910 for a champagne liquor that was popular during that period. Sadly, the poster doesn't have the artist's name, so there's no one to attribute it to.
This is a lovely image by an unknown artist. That's fine.
Nevertheless, the image and color of the poster exalts its quality. On the poster, too, is a tax stamp, which shows the publisher or owner paid for it to be hung.
It doesn't make it authentic. It means they paid for the tax on hanging them. Sometimes if a poster's never left the factory, it doesn't have the tax stamp.
As a color lithograph, this piece would have been printed in like 6 or 7 colors via a big piece of Bavarian limestone. Although it has some condition issues, that doesn't take away from any of its qualities. A retail price for this high-quality piece of French lithography would be in the region of
$3,500 or $4,000.
Okay.
World War I had no value and was a bad period in the vast expanse of time. However, this helmet from that period holds some value. A German helmet. It's an officer-quality enlisted private purchase helmet. It's a Prussian spiked helmet with camouflage field cover.
A spiked helmet can be a fairly fancy thing, and this particular one has a field cover on it so that it doesn't attract too much attention when they're actually wearing them in the trenches and in the First World War.
Okay. Cockades on the side indicate the original owner must have been from Prussia. On the inside of the helmet, it's seen that it has an officer-style lining with a leather sweatband and a silk interior. Also, a part of the helmet are death notices. Death notices were originally printed in local newspapers and announced that a certain individual had been killed in the conflict. The death notice being hidden in the lining of this helmet would indicate possibly that these were friends or family of the original owner. The historical significance and excellent condition of this helmet gives it a retail value of
Would expect to pay a retail price in the neighborhood of $1,650. We sure appreciate you bringing it in.
Okay.
It's sometimes a wonder what goes through the mind of furniture makers before they make a masterpiece. It's no understatement to say that this hitch table, too, is a masterpiece. Dating from the 1920s, this table incorporates the Art Nouveau style. Another wonderful concept about this masterpiece is that it converts from a table to a chair.
And this is actually what we call pyrography. It's the art of carving and burning these designs into wood.
There's a signature of Minnie G. Jensen found under the table. However, we can't say for certain if the signature is attributed to the table's maker or to the guest grandmother. There's also the pattern and the central panel of the table, which is also quite captivating.
Of the great size, proportion, and for me, this central panel of the woman, it gets my heart beating. I just think it's so beautiful.
At auction, this captivating and innovative work of furniture would fetch a sum of,
I would estimate it to sell in the $1,000 to $2,000 range.
Wow. Very nice.
It's pretty special.
That it is.
This striking necklace, worn for the first time today, is a captivating piece with a unique history.
How did you get it? What is it? It's the first time I've ever worn it. It's always been hanging on the wall.
Originally purchased by the guest mother from an artist in Greenwich Village, it has remained a cherished item for decades. The necklace was created by Art Smith, a pioneering black jeweler from the 1950s, known for his modernist designs. The silver necklace incorporates stones from the quartz family to its design. These quartz stones, however, don't have great value, and they're merely just there for how very colorful they are. Art Smith's pieces are highly collectible today, and this particular necklace stands out as an extraordinary, one-of-a-kind creation.
The necklace is grand and certainly eye-catching, and I think it's probably an extraordinary, one-of-a-kind by Art Smith.
Despite its artistic prominence, this piece remains unsigned, a common practice for some of Smith's work.
Now, this one is not signed. Art Smith signed some pieces, didn't sign others.
Given its artistic significance and the legacy of Art Smith, this necklace could fetch a sum of...
You are at a level today at $5,000 to $7,000 in the market.
This exquisite Georgian silver cruet set, discovered after years in a box, is really captivating. Intrigued by the hallmark, the guest decided to have it appraised, leading to this moment.
So 7 years later, I raced right down, and here I am, sir. I know nothing about it.
The set was crafted in London in 1805.
It's English, what we call Georgian silver, which is sterling silver.
A 6-bottle cruet stand, it showcases the artistry of Paul Storr, a renowned English silversmith. Featured on the cruet are intricate designs, detailed mountings, and beautiful cut glass. Each bottle bears fine markings, emphasizing the set's authenticity and craftsmanship. One of the masterful works of Paul Storr, this cruet sets hold considerable value. Given its remarkable craftsmanship and historical value, this Georgian silver cruet set is valued at...
Is somewhere in the $8,000 to $12,000 range.
I'm shocked.
Today, we have a painting that enchants and enthralls. This item was purchased by the guest parents at a yard sale.
And ever since then, it's just been on the wall in our house, and I've just always been curious about it.
Do you know when your parents bought it?
Well, I was about 1 at the time, so I think like 98, 99.
The painting is a creation of a talented artist, Gertrude Abercrombie. Gertrude Abercrombie was an American painter, known for her unique and enigmatic style, which blended elements of surrealism, folk art, and self-taught art. She is often referred to as the Queen of the Bohemians due to her association with the Chicago jazz and literary scene in the 1920s through the 1950s.
Find it there. She also has a lot of associations with jazz, Dizzy Gillespie actually played at her second wedding.
In a fascinating twist, the artist regards all her artworks as self-portraits. A hauntingly empty landscape looms in the background of the painting. Dating back to 1945, this remarkable artwork would command an auction price of...
I think at auction, even though it's only 4 by 5 inches, we would give it an estimate of $8,000 to $12,000.
Wow.
A unique and captivating pendant brooch is showcased today. This exquisite piece was gifted to the guest by her grandmother. Crafted circa 1890, this stunning jewelry piece embodies Art Nouveau charm.
And it is an American-made piece.
Characterized by elegant, flowing lines and exquisite enamel work.
But it's not just a standard enamel. This is plique azure enamel.
Adorned with tiny seed pearls at the top of the pendant. Originally, the piece featured a wing or dogtooth pearl at the bottom, which has since been lost.
Usually those were fresh water and from America.
This piece has aged beautifully, retaining its original charm in excellent condition. A brooch as stunning as this is likely to command an auction price of
$3,000 to $5,000.
Oh my goodness. My grandmother, you know, she would just love this moment.
It's like she's here with us now.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a lacquer tray from the 19th century. The guest acquired it from an explorer who studied the Mayan Indians and brought it back from Guatemala. However, this piece is not from Guatemala. It's actually from Mexico. The tray features a diptych of 2 hand-painted tiles showing an Aztec scene. This scene depicts a beautiful bouquet of flowers painted in vivid hues of green, red, and black. Interestingly, this tray is made from wood, coated with 20 layers of high-gloss lacquer. Each layer has been hand-polished between coats, keeping the tray in good shape for a 19th century item. In a retail setting, this Mexican lacquer tray featuring an Aztec scene would be valued at
$3,000, $4,000.
Here with us today, we have a salesman sample plow. This item was given to the guest husband's great-grandfather by the salesman. The plow comes in an unusually shaped box with an inscription on it that reads...
The wording here, which is very hard to read, but it says Bissell Plow, South Bend, Indiana.
Opening the box reveals a wonderful pull-behind plow, which looks amazing. The plow is cast iron and nickel-plated, dated from around 1900. The guest also brought a picture from 1937 of her husband's great-grandfather and his brother, featuring the sample plow. An average plow like this at auction could fetch anywhere from
$600 to $800.
What makes this plow special is that it comes in its original box, which raises its value. At auction today, this cast iron sample plow with its original box would be worth
Probably looking around $1,200 to $1,500. And I'm so glad you brought it in.
Thank you.
We are presented with a Royal Doulton vase, which came from Doulton Factory in Burslem. It originally belonged to the guest's great-aunt, who lived in New York.
My grandmother, her sister, was a decorator. And so I have a feeling maybe Grandma Florence sort of helped Aunt Vicky buy some things.
This vase has an original metal liner, which is found only in vases of this caliber.
Because you didn't want to put water in there and fill it. And indeed, you really didn't want to put anything in there that was going to disturb it.
It features the signature of Edward Raby, a member of a well-known family of Staffordshire potters from the 19th century. This vase is beautifully hand-painted with flower designs, a highly regarded skill back in the day. One unique aspect of this vase is that it is not part of a pair, unlike most vases from that era. This piece dates back to around 1895 to 1900 and remains in perfect condition. At auction today, this Royal Doulton vase, with hand-painted floral designs and a mark of authenticity on the bottom, would carry an estimated value of
between $3,000 and $5,000.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, that's pretty good, by the way, for a Doulton vase.
This Tang Dynasty horse, discovered in a Tokyo antique shop during the Korean War, is a rare and remarkable find. Acquired by the guest husband in 1950, the piece was bought on installment with cigarettes as payment. The horse was authenticated at the Antiques Roadshow in 1997.
I saw Mr. Lark Mason Jr., and he was doubtful about the horse. So he advised me then that to have it authenticated.
A thermoluminescence test was conducted in England, which confirmed its authenticity and dates the horse to the Tang Dynasty. This large, three-color glazed horse was a symbol of prestige, often buried with nobility during that era.
These Tang Dynasty horses are really quite rare for its massive size and also the fact that it's a three-color glazed example. The ownership of these steeds was a matter of great prestige during this period.
The vibrant colors and intricate design make this horse a stunning example of the Tang Dynasty craftsmanship. In 1999, with the certificate, this piece would have been valued at a higher sum than it is currently.
We would have told you that the insurance value would be about $100,000.
However, its value has dropped down slightly, and this Tang Dynasty horse is now presently valued at...
It'd be about $80,000 insurance now, okay?
Wow, that's still very good.
This early traveling clock holds a fascinating story. Though family lore dates it back to 1737, it is actually a late 18th to early 19th century piece. Known as a campaign clock, it was designed for military use. It showcases the portability needed for travel and the ruggedness expected in a time of war. The clock's early form and historical association with military campaigns add to its charm. Despite the discrepancy in its age, this clock remains a significant and valuable artifact. Its compact design and sturdy construction reflect the needs of officers on the move. In today's market, the retail value for this campaign clock is estimated between
$3,000 and $4,000.
Wow.
This dazzling Tiffany & Company pin, hidden away for decades, is a stunning example of Art Deco craftsmanship. Acquired from a private individual 30 years ago, this exquisite piece has proven to be a wise investment.
How much for this piece?
I paid, I think, right at $3,000.
Okay.
The pin, encrusted with a variety of diamond cuts, exemplifies the elegance and precision of the Art Modern style. It has European, French, baguette, and round-cut diamonds.
You have French-cut diamonds, baguette-cut diamonds. There are round cuts. They're all set in a beautiful platinum frame.
In addition, its design is both intricate and breathtaking, a true testament to Tiffany & Company's legacy of excellence. If there's a piece that captures the true essence of Art Deco, it surely is this piece. With its sleek lines and radiant brilliance, this pin is a timeless piece that will never go out of style. The craftsmanship and attention to detail are evident in every facet and showcases the skill of the jewelers who created it. In today's high-end retail market, this Tiffany & Company pin could command a price of...
You could look at $25,000 to $30,000 for this piece.
But I purchased it, and I appreciate the craftsmanship in it. So I guess I'll have to wear it from now on.
You should.
On display is a remarkable Navajo blanket, embodying the tribe's rich cultural heritage and skillful craftsmanship. For decades, this remarkable piece has been a family heirloom, passed down from the guest great-uncle who discovered it in Arizona.
And he purchased it. I knew it was a Navajo, but I didn't know whether it was a rug or a blanket.
Okay.
The Navajo people are a Native American tribe native to the Four Corners region of the United States. This remarkable piece is identified as a variation of a third-phase chief's blanket. Its classification as a third-phase chief's blanket is due to the termination of crossing patterns across the blanket.
It was probably woven in the 1870s, and what makes it particularly beautiful is the different reds in it.
What distinguishes this piece from others is the unique variations in the dye.
And then there's some lighter reds that are possibly commercial dyes. The beautiful blues are an indigo dye, and then your white and brown are natural homespun.
Despite being aged, this piece remains in outstandingly pristine condition. Given its distinctive weaving and rare patterns, this outstanding piece would command an auction estimate of...
I think at auction would bring probably $35,000 to $45,000.
Oh my goodness.
Today's exhibit features a lovely white gown. The guest, a hairstylist, holds a sentimental attachment to this cloth, gifted by his distinguished client, Brooke Shields.
So her last night of the show at Curtain Call, I got dressed up and much to her surprise gave her a beautiful bouquet of white flowers all dressed up in her dress.
Brooke Shields is an American actress, model, and former child star.
She is absolutely one of the most charming, professional, giving people I've ever worked with. She's...
This gorgeous gown is complemented by a concept sketch from the celebrated designer, Bob Mackie. Bob Mackie is a renowned American fashion designer and costume designer known for his iconic and often daring designs. Created for Brooke Shields in the 1980s, this dress features the coveted Bob Mackie label and his personal autograph. Closer inspection reveals Brooke Shields' autograph, tastefully positioned at the dress's bosom. Taking into account its remarkable provenance and autograph, this dress would have an estimated auction value of...
I would believe that this would probably bring $7,500.
That's pretty amazing. Thank
so
you.
Isn't that a great gift?
That's the best gift ever. Thanks, Brooke.
This remarkable painting is the centerpiece of our attention today. The guest received this painting as an inheritance from her great aunt, a talented amateur artist who acquired it during her travels to Japan.
And while there, she traveled around a bit and picked up things she loved and brought them back.
Atomi Gyokushi, a respected Japanese artist, is the mastermind behind this incredible painting.
And it's rather rare to see women painters. She was born in 1859. She was very good at drawing cherry blossoms.
This artwork captures a serene nighttime atmosphere, featuring an owl and a full moon in the background. The vibrant cherry blossoms in full bloom suggest that this piece was created in April, the peak blooming season. Fine silk serves as the canvas for this piece, with the white elements crafted from ink and natural vegetable pigments. The painting's beauty is matched by its remarkable condition, which has been preserved intact since the late 19th century. Considering its impressive scale and outstanding quality, this captivating painting would command a significant insurance value of
$6,000.
$6,000?
Insurance, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
From the great suffragette rally held in 1908 London comes today's piece. This piece is actually a paper napkin from that rally. A high-profile event, the suffragette was attended by thousands of people that year. It was a movement that fought for the right for votes for women. On the piece are images of women who were most likely the faces of the movement. Also, clearly printed on the napkin is the location and date of the rally. The suffragette really changed the way women were viewed in the UK and led to women being able to vote now. An amazingly rare item, this item with its provenance would be valued at...
Probably now worth £500.
Oh my goodness.
This rare Playboy magazine, signed by Hugh Hefner, completes the guest extensive collection.
I have a collection of Playboy magazines, and at the time, this was the only one I did not have. So now I have every issue from the first issue until today.
Published in 1953, its first issue features Marilyn Monroe, who was then an unknown model. Hefner's vision for Playboy was still uncertain, so he omitted the date from this inaugural issue. Marilyn Monroe's appearance in this magazine helped launch her career and cement Hefner's attachment to her. Along with the magazine, there was also a photograph of Hugh Hefner, signing this particular copy for the guest. Its condition was remarkable, with only minor imperfections on the spine and a slight stain.
I started when I found a few magazines in the cupboard at home that I shouldn't have seen, but that was about 1960.
Hefner's bold signature added significant value to this already highly sought-after issue. This magazine's importance in pop culture history is undeniable, making it a truly unique and valuable find. It would appraise at
$4,000 to $5,000.
That's great. That's really great.
Nice.
All right, thank you.
Featured on the show today is a figure that was purchased by the guest through a newspaper ad. Stylistically, the piece shares some similarities with Etowah artifacts from Georgia.
Again, the way this is handled, it's similar, but it's a little bit crazy.
There are inscriptions on the back of the figure, which typically provide information about its collection history. The figurine has a human face form on the side of its ear, which is quite unusual. Additionally, there are tiny holes all over the body of the piece, indicating that it was cast. Considering these characteristics, we can determine that this item is not an authentic original, but rather a reproduction. It is in good condition. However, since it's not authentic, its value would be significantly affected.
First of all, for major objects like this, if they're real, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right. A lot of money.
As a decorative piece, even though it's not an original, it would still be worth.
It's still $300 to $500.
Okay.
So it's a nice, decorative, interesting piece, and now you have a roadshow story to go with it.
All right.
Today's showcase features a pendant of uncommon elegance and refinement. The guest, accompanied by her husband, discovered and purchased this exquisite piece at an antique show in Washington, Pennsylvania.
And he's like, come on, come on, come on, come on. I knew he found something really precious.
Oh, how fabulous.
But unfortunately, when he does that.
This tennis racket-shaped pendant features a fascinating mechanism that reveals multiple interconnected racket-shaped layers.
Can you show me how to do it?
Yes. And then we hear a big, wow. I'll just put my hand down here and go like this.
The 6 additional layers offer a unique space to hold cherished photographs. La Loche Frères, a respected name in jewelry, created this lovely locket. La Loche Frères was a renowned French jewelry house that operated from 1903 to 1967, and they were known for creating exquisite, high-quality pieces that combined innovative design with exceptional craftsmanship. Crafted in 18-karat gold, this piece features rose-cut diamonds and is embellished with an additional opulent details.
Rose-cut diamonds, there's a small ruby here at the hinge, and then a tiny seed pearl tennis ball.
The reverse side of the piece bears the maker's mark and the patent number for the mechanism. Housed in its original box and boasting exceptional condition, this remarkable piece would command a retail price of...
This would likely retail somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000.
Wow.
If not more.
Thank you very much.
They say to buy what you love, yes.
And I love wearing it.
Works of famous sculptors are often brought to the show by guests to be appraised. But today, surprisingly, a famous sculptor has brought in their own work. The famous sculptor is none other than a past president of the Royal British Society of Sculptors, Maurice Blick. One of Blick's first works, this piece was made some 20 years back. It's a piece about a woman coming out of her shadow's past. This work was born out of Blick's experiences while growing up.
And then we were taken from Amsterdam first of all to Westerbork, which was a sort of interim camp.
This sculpture is a fine example that a fine work of art can be born from even the worst of experiences. What could this early work from one of Britain's most known sculptors be worth in today's market?